not just an alternative, the extreme alternative. What's good, everyone? This is the XVPW Podcast, and I got a special guest with me. You guys probably hear him before. He's actually the commentator. He also plays Biggs and whatnot in XVPW, and he's also my brother, my best friend, my homie Sean.
What's going on, bro?
What's good?
Shit, same old. Just polish off this turkey and cheese sandwich that you just made. It was rather delicious. Thank you.
No problem, man. So we're just we're not in our characters right now. You know, I'm not playing Four Eyes. You're just getting regular Max, basically creator of XVPW, and Sean's my partner in crime. I would basically call him vice president if we were in a real Fed.
I mean, pretty much, Max puts together, he books the matches, as we like to say, and then I make it make sense.
Yep.
So it's a teamwork effort.
Very teamwork effort. So, what is this episode going to be about? So basically, it's just laying it all out and giving our thoughts about the CAW community. Like, I can repeat myself many times, but like I said, I created XVPW not knowing that there's actually a huge community out there that does this type of things. You know?
Yeah, man. I had no idea, and which is crazy because being a part of like gamer culture and like community and whatnot, you would think that we'd know that something like this existed, especially considering that like pretty much everybody that I would at least assume that does CAW now has started off as a kid playing wrestling games, creating their own characters and doing all that good stuff. So like, it's crazy that we didn't know that it was a thing, but I'm definitely glad that it is and that we're a part of it because shit, it's fun as shit.
It is. It's very fun. It's very fun. We were huge gamers and tabletop gamers back in the day, but one thing that always caught our childhood was going over to our boys Jim's house and finding the latest WWE game right there.
Yo, bro, yo, for real, this was bullshit. Yo, I never wanted to be home. Yo, shout out to Jem. For those of you who don't know who Jem is, if you've ever seen the product, Jem is Showtime. Also one of our best friends from high school. I remember going to his house, like, every time we went to his house, it was like a new wrestling game sitting on his bed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I freaking hate my dad. Like, why don't I come home and, like, there's wrestling games and Pokemon games and stuff?
I think, I had No Mercy. You had the WrestleMania 2000.
I definitely had No Mercy, too.
Yeah, you had No Mercy.
I
remember we came to your place because you had the WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Then out of nowhere, because, you know, the original SmackDown game was, like, kind of whack. Very long load time screens, and
they progressively got better.
Yeah, progressively. And I remember that time we came we walked to Jim's house. This is back when we were at 15, 16.
This is high school, yeah.
Yeah, so 15 or 16, we came to Jim's house, and we just saw, Shut Your Mouth?
I think it was either Shut Your Mouth or Here Comes the Pain. I don't remember which one it was,
yeah.
But it was one of the two.
It was one where Triple H finally spits out the water, and we marked out.
Oh, yeah, I marked up, bro.
Yeah.
When I saw Triple H spit water for the first time, I marked. I was like, yeah, no.
And I remember ever since then, we started creating our characters that same day. I didn't call home till probably like 10 p.m.
Bro,
it was like Friday.
We had school the next day. We got school the next day. Like, it's dark by the time we get home. It's like, is your homework done? Like, maybe. Shout out to the Asian girls that I used to copy homework off of the next day from playing wrestling games for too long.
I remember it was almost Triple H spit out the water, and they acknowledged I'm gonna hit your finisher, but we're gonna do a full 360 frozen.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
And that was the end of it. I'm like, oh shit, that's dope.
That was one of those things in the game that was cool at first, and then the more you played the game, it was like, all right, I don't really need this.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was great at first because it's new. It was like, oh my god, I could 360 it, and then it was like, all right, I don't want to keep doing that because it's making this take a little bit longer. So maybe not.
Yeah. And so I think that was the start. If we were to tell our story of how he got into CAW, create a wrestler, I think that was. I want to say it did start as the No Mercy WrestleMania 2000, but I think it really peaked up when we saw Here Comes the Pain.
Yeah, I definitely created myself in WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah.
I definitely created myself in that game.
Then I remember I went OD hard now when Here Comes the Pain came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the tipping point of like, I'm going to make all my friends, and we're going to look exactly how we are. Like I looked at our yearbook. I remember, I don't know if you know, but I looked at our yearbook pictures.
I remember. I used to talking about. I used to sit here while you did it.
I
would sit here at Max's house and literally come to his house to take nap. First of all, let me just say this, right? Max, I don't know how, but Max's house was so much more comfortable than mine. I was the ambiance. Like, he used to play these Linkin Park, like, piano songs and then, like, put on, like, this air. Computer. Yeah, and then, like, I would just go to sleep. Like, I wouldn't plan on it. I would go to sleep and wake up, and Max would still be sitting here creating somebody. And the characters would look exactly in the face.
And I think by the time Sean woke up, I already created, like, 5 of us.
Yeah, I wake up, like, 3 hours later, and he's sitting there sending me, like, matches. And I'm like, what's my moveset? Like, I'm like, my first thought is, what the hell have you been doing for the past couple hours? And the second moveset is like, what's my moveset though? Like, no, hold up, no, I don't do that. I gotta go back, you know. But no, those are definitely good times.
Good, really good times. And if you want to go back a little bit further, I remember WrestleMania when I brought the N64 to Maris. And if we would have the tournament, I remember I think a couple of the teachers would calm down and play their matches as a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we used to create the teachers in the game too.
Shout out to Mr. Nugent for looking like Mr. Nugent.
Ted Nugent, listen, first don't get me started on Ted Nugent because I'll say and talk about that man. Bro, I feel bad for things that happened to Ted Nugent when we were in high school. I'm glad that he's still doing okay though.
Shout out if you're actually hearing this.
If you're a married, if you're a married student, then you know who we talking about. Shout out to Maris. You know Maris is closing this year?
Oh, yeah, I heard.
I heard that shit on the news. I walked past the news the other day. It's like, Maris High School. I'm like, word? I went there. My degree don't mean shit now.
But yeah, I guess after Here Comes the Pain, I remember you were the first one, and outside of me and Jim, you had the Xbox. And you had that.
I hated that stupid ass game.
He had the what wrestling game was that?
I don't know. Was it Raw? It was Raw something.
Was it Raw?
I want to say it was stupid.
All I know that it concentrated more on pyro than anything. I
freaking hated that game.
Create a pyro? Wow.
Listen, let me just say this, right? I bought that game in typical wrestling fan fashion. Yeah, it's going to be great. I got an Xbox now. I'm moving up. Better processor. This is going to be great.
Nobody had an Xbox.
I was the only one that had Xbox. I was so hyped. Let me see. My pops bought me an Xbox, right? I didn't ask him for it. Like, he just got me an Xbox for Christmas. And I was super excited because I was the only one in the group that had an Xbox. And I was really excited about it. And then I realized Xbox doesn't really house most of the games that I enjoy. So I'm like, this sucks. And I traded in my Xbox for a PS2. I just want to say that. Like,
Sean was so hyped to bring me over his house just so I can create a character. I'm like, Sean, I can't even create nothing right now.
This game sucks. Yo, I created my character. Let me just say this, right? I've never hated a created player that I made of myself as much as I did in that stupid. There was like no good taunts.
No.
Like, you couldn't do anything. Like, all you could do is have, like, a shit ton of pyro. And, like, the match pace, like, it was weird. Like, the meter was based on, like, momentum, which is cool. I think that's a cool idea for a wrestling game. But I think it was way too dependent on, like, the momentum aspect of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was WWE Raw. I'm looking right now.
Yeah, it was Raw. It was way too dependent on momentum.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is kind of ass. So, like, if you're losing and you trying to come back, it's a lot harder. It was like,
I mean, looking back and I'm looking at these images, the graphics look really dope. But
no, they were good for the time, and that's why I was excited about it because the graphics for the time were really good. Yeah. But that was all in.
That was about it.
I never had more than one Xbox game at a time. I don't know if you ever knew that.
Oh yeah.
No, excuse me. I bought the first game that I had for Xbox was Dead or Alive 3, I think, which is cool, but it's not my style of fighter. So I was like, okay, and then I traded in, and I was like, ooh, Raw, and then I was like, great, a wrestling game. And then I played that, and I was like, this sucks.
Do you remember your finisher back in Raw?
I don't know. It was something bad. I've always been like a road dog guy, so it might have been a pump handle slam.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it might have been shake, rattle, and roll. And then again, it might have been like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it was. It was weird because like I came out and I did like the Hardy Boys taunt because there wasn't any really good taunts in the game. It was just a mess. I prefer not to relive those days. Can we talk about No Mercy?
Oh man! So speaking about No Mercy, remember it was probably No Mercy or probably WrestleMania 2000. All I know is I remember when Jim Showtime, aka Showtime, created us. My man did not put no effort into us. Definitely it was just I was basically a clone of Jeff Hardy, but with brown skin.
I think that's exactly what he did, was clone Jeff Hardy and just change the name. If I remember, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that that's what happened. I'm like, nah, dog, we gotta start from the drawing board, dog.
You know what? Let Max do it.
Let Max do it. Let Max do it. Let the Asian guy do it. No racism.
You're a road dog with black skin.
Basically, is what I was. Yo, the braids and everything. I'm like, why don't I got blonde braids? I'm like, listen, I'm not doing it. Like, you know what, Jeb, you go make a sandwich. Nah, I will say this. Jim House back in the day used to have a bomb ass Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah,
not even gonna hold you, Jim. Listen. Shout out to my boy Jim, bro. This man, his house. It was like, it wasn't even just him. Like, it was like a house trait.
Oh yeah.
Like, everybody in the house made bomb ass Kool-Aid. So like, I'm like, damn, bro, you got the Kool-Aid. Max creates people. I talk shit. No, everybody just keep doing what you're good at doing.
Do you remember like the factions that you and him made? Because I know I was probably just MDX and I was Sean's tag team partners about it. But I remember you guys had a couple of factions. I think.
I remember R&M was a thing, but that was all three of us again. That was like the rebirth of MDX, and then it was like, nah, MDX.
What was R&M stuff for? Regime
New Millennium.
New Millennium. Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, outside of being frat bros, like, we didn't really have any factions that weren't like exclusive to everybody.
No. You wasn't there like a 112 one? A 112 faction?
Oh yeah, we did have like this weird 112. All right. So for those of you who don't know this about me, I'm pretty musically talented. So like, for whatever reason, we had like this whole 112. It was like me, there was Jem, and then it was like Wayne and Donnell.
Yeah,
Donnell. I remember that. Crooked Foot. Shout out to Crooked Foot. My boy.
He was also a character.
Yeah, my boy Donnell from back in the day. Well, he's still my man, but shout out to you if you're listening. Shout out to Wayne too. But yeah, we had that, but that wasn't so much like a wrestling thing. They weren't really like. Well, D was kind of a wrestling fan, but he wasn't like heavy to like how we was like.
I know Jim had a faction with him and his family. I remember that's when he included Alex into the game.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that's how I found out about Alex outside of not knowing Alex.
I remember. Yeah. I remember meeting. I met.
Yeah, because I remember like I remember asking like, who's this this guy with the dreads? Like, oh, that's Alex. Like, oh, who's that? Oh, that's my cousin. Oh, cool. So I remember it was him, Alex, and Darnell.
I saw him the other day too. Did I tell you?
Oh, that's cool.
He lives on the same block as me. Like, he lives the next block, like the next part of the block from me. And I was walking home and I saw him.
But yeah, going on forward, we'll be right back with more of our... And I think we're going to talk about basically XVPW.
This is Austin Theory, the Evolved Champion, and you're watching Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling.
Extreme! Okay, we're back with me and my homie Sean.
Yo.
And we're going to talk about Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling, man, and how that came about.
Well, we know how it came about. We wrestling fans, we've been doing this shit forever, much like everybody else who's been doing it. And finally, it's like, hey, we got YouTube now. Let's be fucking extra on camera.
Do you personally know how I got you in or how it got started?
Yeah, I remember. All I remember is you asking me if I wanted to pretend to be a wrestler on YouTube, and I remember my response being hell yeah, and I haven't looked back since then.
Do you know what happened before that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I just remember you telling me that you wanted to do it. You had an idea.
You remember? All right. So for those who don't know, well, outside of XVPW, I have another YouTube channel called Four Eyes, and I remember we did 2 skits.
Oh, I remember those skits with what you call it?
Joe Grizz.
Joe Grizz.
Right?
Is that what started it?
Yes.
I remember those.
That
was
started.
Great.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was fun.
So for the hardcore fans, how I got started, it was Four Eyes, and we did 2 skits. Four Eyes is basically it's a YouTube channel, but majority, and I gotta say 80% to 20% is 1 Yu-Gi-Oh and 2 wrestling. And we did a skit with Joe Grizz from Team Avalanche.
Shout out my boy Joe Grizz, aka Chef Grizz of the movement.
Yeah, and we cut a very wrestling skit with us calling out Joe Grizz, and we end up having a match, which is not really a wrestling match. It was more of like a Yu-Gi-Oh match. But if you guys watch that video, it's basically me as the group Team FSU well, I guess even in wrestling we'll call it ourselves the Bullet Club because we were very Bullet Clubbish with the black and white.
It was a very Bullet Club-esque thing at the time. Like, listen, no bullshit. It was what it was.
Yeah,
man. Like,
it was very Bullet Club, and or Joe Grizz was playing as himself, but he had a luchador by his side named Aparo de Illusion. So, yeah, it was really funny.
I remember that shit now.
So it was really funny. I end up winning, and at the end of the day we end up jumping Joe Grizz. But it was so funny and comedic, and I think that's what opened my eye to like, yo, we could do something. You know, we could. I feel like we had the potential to create something out of that.
That was the best.
And I think 3 months later, that's how XVPW came about. So how Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling, so that was the idea, and the birth of it was, I think it was 2016. We ended up doing like a Secret Santa. We ended up doing a Secret Santa, and on the living room, I ended up having the WWE, I believe it was 2K16, maybe not 17, but I believe it's 2K16. So I figured, hey, why not a cheat? I'll create like our friends, Team FSU, and while we're doing the Secret Santa thing, or it'll be like entertainment during the middle, and we just do like random matches, computer, AI versus AI. And it was funny because I remember everybody saying, wow, everybody looked the same. I believe we had like,
yo, I remember you had Andre with those white gloves and that weird like
that
weird ass pose.
Yeah. We had them, and it was just funny because we were watching it and we were just like staring at it and we were just laughing our asses off. Like, damn, who's gonna win this Royal Rumble or this like fatal 4-way and everything like that. So that was like the birth of the creating moment. Then what made it really official is when I made what made it official was when I made basically the Twitter, the Instagram, and all of that, and we just started filming and say, hey, we're gonna do something that that's been done before.
At least we thought.
Yeah.
At least we thought.
At least we thought. I remember shooting like the videos back then, and they were so cringy. No lie.
Yeah, a little bit cringy. I look back at like my earlier work, and I'm like, geez. Like honestly, and you know me, like as much as I'm a participant in the show, like I'm very much a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Max will tell you, like, I don't think that there's anybody else who works on the show that's as big of a fan of the show as I am. Like, I literally will sit and watch episodes of XVPW, not, like, knowing that I know exactly what's about to happen. I was there for the creation, and I will sit there and watch it, like, as a fan. So, like, I look back. And even season 1 for me is a little hard to watch when I look at myself because I'm like,
the only good thing about season 1 that had the potential was Ryan.
Nah,
Ryan's
been great. Yeah, Ryan's been great since day 1.
Ryan was the GOAT of like XVPW season 1 because you can tell that I felt like he was born to play the D. Ryan Z character.
Yeah.
Cause I remember like if you saw I didn't do the bloopers or like the past, but I have footage of old D. Ryan Z and how he wanted to do this gimmick. I'm like, nah. So I gave him the idea, like, why don't you just play a jock? Like, be a jock. Like, you're the only guy who's really good at what he does, and you're probably the most experienced than all of us.
But that's debatable.
But yeah, he really got sold on that idea. Like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You know, if you're gonna play this $20 million gimmick, then do that. You know, be the top guy and act like it. And he played that to the T. So well. And he played it so well that, yeah, we made him believe that, yeah, this guy's been doing it.
Not even just D. Ryan Z, man. Like, Ryan, just as a whole, like, even, like, as Henderson, like, he does a lot of stuff as far as, like, acting. He's also El Para.
He played 3 gimmicks.
He was 3 characters in one season, bro. Like, yeah. That's, you want to talk about dedication and, like, range, depth, like, and just, like, you know, talent. Like, you got to give it up where credit is due, man. Like, you know, he did a lot. And I feel like his contribution and all the characters that he played definitely added a lot to the show and made it a bit more enjoyable for like the general viewer who's not just a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good thing. And I honestly, to say that, I don't know that I've ever told Ryan this. So Ryan, if you're listening to this is the first time you're hearing it, I think. But watching Ryan perform
Made you want to do better?
It made me step my game up a lot. Like I had never, because I don't know if anybody knows this, but like a lot of the stuff that I do as far as like my character, like Biggs and Devon Smith on commentary, like a lot of the stuff that I do is improv. Like I'm a very improv orientated like guy. Like I like to do improv stuff because like stuff just comes to my head off the top, and I'm usually pretty good at it. So like a lot of stuff that I do is improv, and I know Ryan would write out some of his stuff, maybe not like all like full script, but like he'd like plan out what he wanted to do, and like some of his promos would come off so good, as a result. And I'm like, damn, yo, I gotta start doing that. Maybe not to the same degree because our creative processes may be a little bit different, but at the same time, just the idea of taking a minute to say, okay, these are points. You know how I am, Max. Like I don't write the whole thing down. Like I'll be like, okay, key point, hit this, and this.
For at least for comparison wise, you, Ryan, I think for us, well, I'm horrible at doing promos, but I always tell people, because I'm a director, so when I'm directing, I always tell them, hit 3 key points, but just improv the rest of it. As long as you're hitting your main three key points and cutting a promo, everything is good. Ryan, majority of times he'll write or memorize, but I always tell him hit your 3 key points, and as long as you got that out of the way, I'm totally fine with it. And that's why the promos, and that's why people like watching our show, because we hit our key points. We don't drag along what's gonna happen.
Yeah, definitely not. It's important. I think it's important. And granted, we're not necessarily the most experienced at CAW as far as from like a time perspective when you compare us to maybe like other groups who have been doing this for a bit longer, but I do think that it's very important that we look at our competition, separate ourselves in what ways that we can, take the good from situations that we see and use those things to make us better, but also take the things that we don't like and make sure that we're not doing some of that stuff. And one of the issues that I have with some other shows is that I'm not going to get there. They just take a long time. So like, well, I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I say that to say that hitting key points for us is very, very important, and making sure that the show flows.
One thing I do love about our roster, especially from season 1 to now, is I felt like we were in the competition for each of ourselves. Like we try to I think we do our best to one up each other.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing I love about it. Like,
absolutely.
Like, yeah, you're not in the main title picture. Yeah, you're not in the top guy, but we do our best to one up each other to the point where we make ourselves better.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's a healthy competition. Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like a rivalry, but like we're on the same team. You know what I mean? We're all trying to make sure that our product is the best out there, or at least, that we're comfortable, submitting our product to the general public. So it's definitely a good thing that we have this competitive spirit amongst each other,
So far in season 1 and season 2, what's like your favorite parts or favorite moment in XVPW outside of you booking,
like as a whole, or for me specifically?
I guess like
as my character, or like
I guess as a whole.
In a general sense.
Yeah, speaking in general,
my favorite moment in XVPW, both seasons. I don't know, like, because so many of my favorite moments involve my character, but not so much from a narcissistic perspective, just because I really think we did a good job with the storyline. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that the storyline for all the characters like that I was involved with, specifically for season 2, was very well. Like I like the way that the story went. So it's hard to say because a lot of those like moments for me are that. But if I had to think favorite moments, like not involving me, definitely have to do with Ryan. I can't even pick. It's hard to pick one because like I really enjoy when Ryan does things that like break the fourth wall. You know what I mean? Like that scene where Four Eyes is like bothering Nathaniel in the bathroom about facing the Ryan Z, and then like Four Eyes busts in the bathroom and Ryan's like taking his shit. By the way, for everybody who doesn't know, Ryan was actually taking his shit. When we did this. That wasn't like you go sit on the toilet and I'm gonna bust in.
I know we were watching.
That was an episode. I don't remember what pay-per-view.
Yeah, we were watching a pay-per-view and I said, Ryan, I want to do this thing where I budge into your like bathroom and ask to face the Ryan Z, and it was like, what?
It was great. No, it was so good. It was good because like my favorite thing about it is the seamless transition. Like because he goes like, Max busts through the door, and Ryan's on the phone without the wig on. And he's like, if you don't know who I am, like he's doing the whole D Ryan Z shit. And then when he realizes who he's supposed to be, you see the wig come on. What do you want? Like, you know what I mean? Like that stuff to me is funny. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I like stuff like that.
I like the shout out to Arnell, the skit with it was Arnell, El Power de Illusion, and Rocky Patel on the table. So. Was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't El Power.
No,
it was I know.
Osama?
No, I know what skit you're talking about. It was Evan Kane. Shout out to Arnell. It was El Power and Cisco.
Cisco, yes. And
they were doing that whole. They were doing the interview. That was during season 1 when they were doing the interview.
And shout out to Dev for giving them that idea.
Yo, it was so funny. That was funny.
Yeah,
that was pretty. I thought so.
This is for the hardcore XVPW who watched season 1 because that was classic.
That was so good. Ryan ate the banana with the peel on it.
But the idea of Cisco speaking Spanish,
the translator,
oh,
it was so good because none of the stuff that Cisco said in Spanish correlated to anything that anybody said in English. Like I don't know, like
because Arnell was speaking in English. Cisco was translating it to El Power de Illusion in Spanish, and El Para is speaking English.
In English. It's like, yo, what the fuck is he doing, bro? Why is he It's like, yo, you don't need to be...
And this is why and they don't do this and
we'll get stuff like that.
We don't do stuff in that, you know, and this is the comedic part of it, and that's what
I think separates us.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that I always enjoyed about our product that separated us is the fact that like you watch a lot of other shows and it's really just like what if we were WWE or what if we were like, you know what I'm saying? Like what character I would portray in a linear sense. Like I'm not going to say there's not comedy in other products. There is, but it's different, I think, because it's comedy insofar as the way WWE does comedy, where it's like, it's funny, but like it's funny as it pertains to the storyline. Yeah. You know what I mean? As opposed to like what XVPW, when you watch our product, it's kind of like, this is funny, but it's not funny because it fits into the storyline. Like, you know what I mean? Like Austin playing a guitar saying what is funny. You know what I mean? But like, it's obvious funny. Like it's funny on a surface level, as opposed to like what we were just talking about, where you got a guy who speaks English interviewing another guy who speaks English, who's being translated by a guy who doesn't speak any. Like, you know what I mean? Like something like that. They don't do stuff like that.
And I think that's what, if you guys want to know, like looking forward to the next season XVPW, I'm doing this thing where I'm gonna do at least a 5 minutes funny skit segment. Because then it looks like it gives something to look forward to, you know. And I think that's what's missing. That was somewhat missing in season 2, but we had a lot of funny moments in season.
There was a lot more story. You know what it was?
There's more story developing.
Right, we had more room.
Yeah.
We had more room for comedy in season 1 because season 1 was very like, as far as like the storylines concerned, it was really building foundations for future storylines, as well at the same time like the concept of what was going on, because it was just a tournament.
It was there's no
storylines. You know what I'm saying? There's no story.
There's no story
in between characters. There's no stories because none of us really know each other. You know what I mean? Like the only story that we really had is, you know, hey, where like everybody's backstory, which not everybody got like super flushed out. Like D Ryan Z probably has the most flushed out backstory. You know what I mean? Which is cool because it warrants his character warrants him having that backstory. You know what I mean? It fits, but like. We had so much more room for comedy, but like season 2, there was so much more like story building, so much more like story work, you know. And that was really, I think there was definitely comedy that like, you know, that added to it. But I think the story is kind of like where it really shines. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely proud. I'm definitely proud of, you know, our creative work as far as, you know, booking and making it make sense.
And that's all. That's like for me, like personally, I just want everything to make sense and have that.
Right.
As long like my goal in XVPW was make everybody have sense, like make sense, and also to, even if you're not that important in XVPW, or maybe not have the top storyline and whatnot, as long as you're getting book right.
Yeah, everybody has something to do.
Everybody has something to do, and there's no. I think that's what I love about a roster. There's no weak link,
right?
You know, and that's like one of my favorites of that.
Yeah, like everybody may not be in the title picture at the same time, but like everybody's got some type of stature whether you're holding a belt or
like
not.
the Wolf King, for example.
Yeah.
The Wolf King, for example, is an amazing fucking character, and shout out to Tony for
absolutely
for doing that. And like
his first promo still gives me chills. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Like, I really thought his first promo as the Wolf King was like super good.
Yep.
That's my favorite. That's probably my favorite Wolf King promo.
Mm-hmm. Like the Wolf King character, amazing. Like even though he wasn't funny, like there's no comedic outside of that, he's probably my top 3 favorite characters in XVPW.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. I would say if I had to pick a top 3, I won't put myself in my top.
Of course.
But no, it's not even because it's me. I enjoyed the character.
Oh yeah.
Like even if it was somebody else, I would still enjoy the character. Like the concept of like.
Remember how I pitched you that idea of like you came up the Biggs character, but I came out like your faction.
You should be a Black Panther, and I was like.
And like really, Max, and like wait, listen to me real quick.
So here's the thing, right? So here's the thing about that. So my character treads a very thin line between, being acceptable in a general sense and kind of being over the top, insofar as the image that my character portrays. It's kind of a touchy thing, like you know what I mean. So like, but you know me as a person, and for those of you who don't know, like I'm not very like caught up on shit like that. You know what I mean? I don't get like I know. Granted, like there's a lot of shit that happens that requires for people to be up in arms, or is validated for people to be up in arms. But in a very general sense, I'm like, hey man, like, if it's funny, it's funny. Mm-hmm. It is what it is, and it's kind of funny. And to tell you the truth, a lot of the shit that Biggs does, I'm not gonna say like is a stereotypical black stuff, but some of it's stereotypical black stuff, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you have to be able to laugh at yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You can't take life too seriously. A lot of the stuff that I've dealt with in life has taught me you can't take life too seriously. You can't take yourself too seriously. There's time for it, but you got to be able to laugh at yourself. So I figure,
not to cut you off, but if you see the evolution from Biggs to season 1 to season 2,
it's like 2 completely different characters.
Yeah, 2 completely different characters, and that's when I came up with the idea for Sean to, hey, try this and see if it works, because Sean's technically somewhat being himself, but he knows his character more than I do. I can only just pitch him enough ideas to say, hey, this is what I see.
Yeah, he gave Max definitely. Yeah. I will say this: Max definitely gave me the idea to go that route. He didn't tell me anything to say or anything that I should do or anything like that. He just pitched the idea of like, hey, because to tell you the truth, like Biggs didn't really have much direction in season 1.
Yeah,
I didn't really have a lot to go on. Max literally said, "Here,
be
be a bad guy." This is the conversation, real shit, right? Behind the scenes shit, right? Uh-huh. This is the actual conversation that we had before I shot that first promo as Biggs. This is the whole conversation. All right, so you're gonna be in the tournament for this championship. You're gonna be a bad guy, and you're the only black person. Go.
Yeah.
What? And this is literally like, okay, so we're about to film this right now.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Like, we're about to film.
What? Okay.
And I think towards that, as episodes go by, like me and Ryan were Ryan's trying to help Sean become heel, and I'm like, shit, I don't have a vision right now. Like, just be a bad guy.
I didn't have it. Like, I'm a bad guy, bro.
Sean was having a hard time doing promos. Like, damn, like I don't know what to
be. Like, cause I'm a really nice guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could be a dick. Like, if I need to be. But like, it's in a very general sense, I'm a pretty nice guy. And like, you're asking me to go somewhere mentally that like I'm not really. Like I'm not that person, but I mean, I guess that's the fun thing about CAW. That's one of the fun things about CAW is the opportunity to reinvent yourself in a way that you maybe under normal circumstances wouldn't be able to portray yourself. Like I can't go to work and be Biggs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can't really like in an everyday life, like if you like real shit, like I can't be Biggs outside. Like, you know what I mean? But on camera, I can be whoever I want to be. I can say whatever I want to say. Barring, YouTube fucking, doing YouTube stuff. But I could be who I want to be, and that to find that creative freedom and to really like tap into it and like just kind of take it someplace that I didn't think that it was going to be. Like that's why I enjoy my character in the segments and shit that I'm involved in so much, because I see like the progress in myself and I'm proud of myself. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The way I think of comedic humor, like the way I get these ideas is majority of it is through South Park. Like that's where I find the comedy value that I want to create in XVPW. I feel like if South Park can get away with doing 99% of the shit, you know, because South Park is pretty controversial.
It's very
controversial. But the way I think of XVPW is like, how can I do that but not take it too far, but keep it to the point where it's somewhat borderline?
Nah, bro, we gotta take it too far, bro. Sometimes you gotta take shit too far. You can't please. Listen, you can't please everybody, bro.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta take it.
Like I want when I told Sean, hey, how can we do this whole wear black blazers and wear the Black Panthers thing, and like not make it seem that we're known as the movement is known as Black Panthers, but more this line of, hey, this is what they're gonna look like, but
just put a white dude in it. You know what we can't be Black Panthers with a white guy.
Like I told Sean, hey, Nation Domination 2.0, but created your own.
Got it.
And that's how it is. And that's how a conversation. Hey Sean, Nation Domination 2.0. Then the Queen Athene character. Shout out to Kimberly, because Kim
is great, bro. Kim is great.
When I tell you, filming a faction is really hard, especially when you need everybody in that to film, and the majority of the time people have their own like stuff to do. It was really hard, especially Ace.
That was the worst part.
Shout out to Ace,
my man Ace, yo, my frat brother.
Like
Ace, good luck, brother.
Even though he doesn't, I don't know if he watches wrestling like that, but he knew what he was doing, because the fact that he was a comedian.
He's a comedian, yeah.
He knows about the famous catchphrases. I want you to think of a catchphrase.
Sweet baby Jesus.
And there you go. And like the Black Reverend Pastor. Like we had a pastor in our Fed, a reverend.
Reverend Ali, bro. Check that out. Yo,
you know?
If you haven't seen it yet and you watching this podcast, what you doing, dog? I don't know how you got here and you ain't watching nothing else.
But yeah, that's how I personally work as a director. Like, I'm gonna give you these ideas. Here's some key points I want you to make it happen, you know. And if I see something, we'll refilm it, because you know me, I refilm as much as I can if I wanted to get it right.
Oh yeah.
And luckily, thank God, like Sean is like 3 takes and cool, we got it. Ryan is majority 20 takes so he feels right. Wolf King is basically, he knows what he's done. Sometimes he'll drift off. I'm like, okay, that was like 5 minutes of you talking. I gotta cut that down to like 1 minute or 2, you know. So luckily that's how it works, and it works out fine, and we all have chemistry, and that's what I love about XVPW. Like everybody has chemistry, and everybody's trying to one up each other, and it works.
It's a little easier to do, like as a whole, when like you're all friends.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because
when you're all friends,
when you're dealing with people that you cool with, is one thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like we're talking about a situation like, dude, we're like in our mid-30s. We've been friends since we were like 13.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Tony, like we've been friends with Tony since around the same time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the other folks that we're, you know, Osama, Dev, Ryan, whatnot, people that we've been chilling with for years. You know what I mean? So like when you understand like how your friends are, how your friends act, how they operate, how they think, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And a lot of the interactions that you see amongst characters, like a lot of the shit that happens here is very organic. And that's one of the things that I really like about XVPW, is the fact that a lot of the stuff that we do is very organic.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
That's why I like to do improv, because I feel like improv is more organic.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
If y'all don't know, it was thanks to XVPW that we see Tony a little bit more now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. I remember right after season 1 was done, and he's like, yo, I want to be part of this. Like, I'll do whatever, man. He wanted to be part of it. I'm like, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
You got to appreciate people like that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Most definitely. But yeah, we'll take a short little break, and we're going to talk about the other shows.
Great.
This is Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks.
You are watching Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling.
Extreme. All right, and we're back with my homie Sean.
Yo. It's like my thing.
Do you remember the time I showed you?
Yes.
The other shows?
I'm glad that you brought it up, because I was about to. Let me clear something up, all right? Let me clear this up right there now, El Dorado. Yes, I'm looking at you. At least I think so. I'm blind. I can't tell. So Max, our good friend Maximilian here, was participating in another podcast and made mention of the fact that we were watching a show, El Dorado, and I had some very extreme things to say in regards to the product. Yes, I did say those things. Yes, I did mean those things. No disrespect, it was what it was. However, I will say this. I don't want there to be this whole understanding of Max is like, hey man, come look at this. We got to do some research. And then I'm sitting here just talking shit with no idea of what I'm doing. I'm not even paying attention to what's going on. That's not what happened. I said what I said, and I stand by it. However, I was looking for things to do, to not do, take tips. I was doing my homework too. I just talk shit while I do my homework because I talk shit the fuck I do. Don't be up sit here trying to bury me and shit, nigga. The fuck is this nigga talking about? Okay.
It's literally how that came about is basically we all agreed. We held like a one group meeting. Everybody was there, the whole entire roster. I don't think I can do that now starting the next season, but I remember we had one group meeting, and I remember, hey guys, so season 1 was really dope, and we had a lot of good feedback. Do you guys want to do another season? Because season 1 was technically stressful for me to do because we popped out one episode, then we filmed the next 2 episodes. Then right after publishing those next 2 episodes, I'm like, shit, we had to continue filming for another 2. So I was I was like telling people like, yo, we have to get this out here. I got to make sure I film this on this day because I need to publish this. Like I had a lot of due dates. So many fucking due dates. And now when I did season 2, I've made sure not to stress myself out and whatnot, because now I had a lot of game plans and timing, and I didn't have to have a lot of due dates to film a lot of stuff because now I had a lot of pre-recorded footage. I had a lot of stuff ready, so I felt, and that's why you got the product you got out now. Everything looked fantastic.
Because you take more time to do
yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Like when you're operating on a much tighter deadlines, it's a lot harder for you to look at your product objectively and nitpick.
Yeah, like I love season as much as I was very stressed. I love season 1 because telling those war stories of how it came about. Yeah, that was fun. Like filming the last episode of season 1 of XVPW was amazing because the fact that we had Karner there, and I finally had to like, hey Karner, I had this idea for you. If you guys don't know who the Karner is, that was Kevin Conner.
Kevin.
Filming that was amazing because you can hear people in the back laughing. Well, when Nathaniel called Evan Kevin.
Yo, that's like my favorite. That you actually know my favorite moment. That's one of my favorite moments. Like when you're filming and like you hear, because like we'd film, like a lot of times we film, like at least season 1, like we'd all be there like when we film. So like Max would like be like say like in Ryan's kitchen. Shout out to Ryan and Becky for letting us use their apartment to film season 1. But like they'd be somewhere else in the house filming, but like whatever it was that we were doing in the other room, we were still doing. So like you'd hear what was going on in the background sometimes. Or like somebody would say something funny and then like you'd hear people in the back laughing.
And you can't help but hold it in.
You gotta hold it in.
Yeah, you can't hold it. But even if you let out just a little bit, I'll keep that in the footage because that's freaking funny.
Yo, first of all, let me just say this because we're talking about that, so I'm gonna bring it up. Max is pretty good at holding it in. You've had to be because you're doing all the filming.
Yeah,
he's pretty good. And I've listened to Max hold in his laughter while a lot of funny shit has happened while he's filming. Mm-hmm. The one thing that Max can never hold himself, like he struggles the most. You can agree with me or disagree. The one thing that I think that Max struggles the most holding in is whenever Cletus is on screen. The first time that I did Cletus, the whole time, remember you're like, and I just want to say this, right? Max said, this is what Max said. You got 10 minutes to go in the room and create a character, a fan. He said.
And this was the last day of shooting.
This was the last day.
Yeah, this was the last day of shooting.
He goes, you got 10 minutes to create a character. He says, I'm going to ask you these 3 questions. That's it. That's all we had. Me, Ryan, Arnell, Dev, that's all we had. Shout out to those guys because those characters, if you've ever seen that XVPW fan access, those videos from season 1, that entire thing was all improv and it was all one take. Like it's cut into 4 videos, but it was all legit one take.
And I think that's what motivated me to like, damn, we should have done this earlier.
That was great. Like that was one of like honestly like from a production perspective, like behind the scenes, that was one of my favorite sessions of shooting.
Yeah.
Because it was so dope. Like to just go in the room. It's like we're all in the room because I don't know if you saw this because you were in the kitchen setting up the camera and whatnot, but we're all in the living room looking for shit. Like okay, boom, here, okay, boom.
Yeah, shout out to Arnell for bringing all those, because it was actually his idea to bring a lot of props to, hey, I got this stuff for filming. I'm like,
I don't know why he had a freaking leopard print. Yo, I don't know why Arnell had that leopard print ass do-rag or whatever it was. I don't know why he had it. But I seen that. I was like, oh, I need this. I don't know why I need this, but I need this, bro. Mm-hmm. I need this. And I did that shit, and I didn't know what I was going to say. I don't know. I had nothing. When you legit, I hadn't figured out exactly, like, the voice and everything. I hadn't figured it out until you said, hi, state your name and where you're from. Mm-hmm. The first thing came was like, hey, how you doing? That. And Max is, like, almost about to shit himself. Like, you can hear him. If you watch the video now, you can hear him.
Yeah.
You can hear him.
What made me laugh a little more is when you left and you hit the green screen. Yeah.
It's like, fuck. Yo, I fucked up the green screen. I definitely hit that shit on the way out. I definitely hit that shit on the way out. Yeah. But you know, we gotta get back to doing that. We gotta do like the bloopers, man. It's not as fun. Like the way we shoot now, be out of necessity, obviously. But like, it's I
think we're more like the way I am. Like I'm more focused on getting the main stuff done. Yeah. Then the other stuff is okay. We can have fun with the other stuff and think of little small ideas here and there. And whatnot.
It's more convenient for the footage the way we shoot now. Yeah. But the one thing that I do miss about being
is the organic.
Is the organic? Yeah.
Like if I was to have a camera with me, like a GoPro, and put it on my forehead, majority of the time we're filming, I would do that.
Dude, YouTube would cancel your freaking account. I can't. You gotta tell me that I'm on camera or I'm being recorded or that I'm on speaker. Don't ever make that mistake. Don't ever, because I never know what I'm gonna say. As a person in life, so that's definitely one thing that's true to all the characters that I play on XVPW is that you never know what any of us are gonna say, and I'm the same way.
I remember, so going back to the other shows, so I remember, so after we all agreed, hey, we're gonna do another season, I finally do the research of trying to find other shows. I went on Facebook groups and whatnot. I remember towards the end of when we did Extreme Blowout, which was the season 1's final episode, a lot of people hit me up, and that's how I got into the CAW community, because of Ryan Paul Jones and Crash. So next thing you know, I'm there and I'm watching a lot of I'm in this Facebook group and people are bringing me in and they're talking about XVPW this, XVPW that, check out this show, blah blah blah, and I'm like, wow. There is actually a huge community outside of, there's a huge community about this.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So fast forward, now we're in the makings of season 2. So I'm trying to do research. Okay, how can we stand out from these other shows? So I got Sean over and I was like, hey Sean, check this out.
Man, listen. All right, listen. This is where I pick up. Listen, Max tells me to come over and take a look at this show. He doesn't necessarily tell me what it is. All he says is, this is our competition. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm watching the show, and I realized, no shade, but it is what it is. Like a minute and a half into the show, 2 minutes into the show, completely uninvested. So
this, again, like how I'm payback of Sean, no shade. Majority of what we're going to say is just constructive criticism.
Fuck that, yo. Let me tell you something, dog. Listen, I'm not one of these niggas to sugarcoat stuff. I'm not one of these dudes like, I'm gonna pad your feelings. Like, I'm considerate, but at the same time, like, if I'm telling you something, I'm telling you what it is. I'm not about to put no disclaimer on what I'm about to say. It is what it is.
No filter.
It is what it is. People be up here saying what they gotta say. Ain't nobody on the internet and got no shade, no tea in saying what it is that they gotta say, and I'm not doing this shit either. I'm not about to be here on an XVPW podcast, extreme podcast, and not freaking speak my mind. Like, no, fuck that. Listen, I watched the show, and I was completely uninvested after 2 minutes. I don't know if it was a low point in the episode or whatever it was. 8 minutes in, I was like, this dude is still talking. The same dude been cutting the same promo for 8 minutes. And I don't know who he was. Listen, I'm sorry. Maybe it's better for you that I don't know who it was. Because I'll call you out. But I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yo, this dude's been talking for 8 minutes. There's no, like, There's no crescendos, decrescendos in his voice. Like, there's no, like, space for crowd pops. And I'm like, yo, I'm bored. I'm like, all right, Max, turn this shit off, yo. Let's watch XVPW.
I think there's a time where I'm watching and Sean literally went to my bed and took a nap.
I took a nap.
And I'm still watching. I'm like, oh, God.
I'm definitely taking a nap in somebody else's call show. Because it's like, yo, I just got to be honest, bro. Like, for me, at the time, especially, like, I wasn't a part of the community. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not looking at anybody else's product with the same eyes that somebody who's a part of the community is. You know what I'm saying? I'm so effectively take what I say as constructive criticism, because it's like, at the time, like, I'm a regular wrestling fan. You know what I mean? So if I'm watching your show and this is what I feel watching your show as a wrestling fan, then I'm sure that I'm not the only person who feels that way. And that's not to say that, you know, whatever other companies, whatever other cause haven't been successful, don't have their fan bases and whatnot, because I'm sure they do. And I appreciate the work that goes into creating the product, so I'll always give credit where credit is due for that. However, as a consumer, I gotta be honest, I was watching it and I wasn't drawn in, I wasn't invested in any of the characters, I wasn't feeling the fact that you're at Raw. You know what I mean?
Remember we had the conversation, so where's Seth Rollins?
So where's Seth? You're at Raw, where's Bray? Like, you know what I mean? Is that where you are?
But
like,
kayfabe was, I can actually answer that for you.
You know, no, I'm sure you can. There's always a kayfabe. There's always a kayfabe.
We're in a different multiverse.
Yeah, fuck the multiverse.
So when you click that link, you're going into a different universe.
Yeah, it's called the Sleep Fest. Anyway, listen, I just gotta be honest. No shout, no shade to nobody, but it is what it is. As a consumer, I wasn't very impressed with that particular episode, so I didn't, continue to watch, and it was what it was. But you got to think about it, like, us as wrestling fans, we're gonna watch because we're wrestling fans.
Yeah, we bash a lot. Like, come on, I mean,
we
as wrestling fans, we bash a lot of stuff. We can bash wrestlers. Like, I love Baron Corbin.
I hate that motherfucker, dog. Baron Corbin is so ass, yo.
So, like, see, it's exactly right there.
He's
so we can talk about, like,
I respect his work ethic as a performer. Like, you know what I mean? I respect the fact that he does it. However, like, I'm not invested in the character.
So the same way that we bash and we talk about shit, like, we can talk about it.
Listen, people need to get their heads out their asses and take their panties off. Like, bro, just because somebody say something bad about your show doesn't mean that they disrespect you or they don't like something, or the case may be. People get all types of freaking caught up in arms and they feel disrespected and they feel offended because they sensitive about the shit. Like, you understand, if you putting the product out, not everybody's gonna like it. Some people are gonna have things that are positive to say, some people are gonna have negative things to say. You about to jump down everybody's throat that got something bad to say about your show. I didn't like it. So fucking what? There's 7 fucking billion people on
There's
the
a lot of there's actually and this to other shows out there who promote, don't say this is the best CAW show ever, or this is that, and you only have one episode. That should be
they're right. It's the best episode. The best one.
I hate that.
It's the best show we got. It's the only one you got.
Like, okay, there's a difference between, you're pressing the share button and you want people to watch you. I can take that 20 million ways. One, you shared it just so you can look at it and people can watch. 2, there's people playing in the match and you're sharing the match. Okay, 2. All right. But when you promote yourself as saying this is the best CAW show ever, we're different, blah, 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 now you're advertising your product, and now that's just propaganda.
Listen. I'm cool with that. I'll tell you, I got the best. Listen, I ain't mad. I ain't so much mad at that, because anybody who does whatever they do should feel like they're the best at what they do. You should absolutely feel that way. Mm-hmm. At the same time, you got to be realistic. You can't be out here talking about, I got the best CAW show ever, or I got the best anything. But you know that your work ethic doesn't match that claim. Like, I can confidently sit here and say that I feel like XVPW is one of the best CAWs, just because, like, from an inside perspective. I don't even just say that because it's our product. I say that because I see the extra time and effort that we put into shit.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
My
like,
thing is, we talk shit, but we back it up.
I back my shit
That's
up.
That's how confident I'm feeling about my show, that I can say, because you see the growth. You know, I didn't say that in episode 1 and say, hey, we're the best. I didn't do that.
We had to wait.
We had to wait.
Till we was cutting in-ring promos on the green screen. That's when it was like, nah, we're better than all y'all motherfuckers. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, nobody else is doing that? I was like, all right.
That's how I confidently feel about when I promote my shit and I'm able to back it up. Now, for me, I'm known for talking a lot of shit, and I'll do that in the way of advertising our show, and I have the balls to do it at other shows. I have the balls to call out other shows, not on their shit, but call them out saying, hey, we're the best show out there. You know, you can watch your COH and El Dorado, but nobody can touch XVPW.
And that's fine.
And that's not talking shit on COH.
Everybody
and
should
El Dorado.
do that, yo. But
exactly.
Here's the thing, yo. Yo, you know what's crazy? Everybody should do that. Like we catch so much heat, right?
Yeah.
We've gotten so much heat. I'm not even going to go into detail about some of the things that I've said on Facebook, but I will say that some of my comments have definitely been deleted. But like,
we'll get that later. We'll get to that.
But what I'm saying is, it's like, yo, look. If you ask any generic wrestling fan, what was their favorite era of wrestling?
Attitude.
9 times out of 10 was the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
What made the Attitude Era successful?
The Monday Night Wars.
Realistically, bullshit, real shit. The Monday Night Wars is the reason that we're all at this point in our lives, and even then, invested in the Attitude Era. All those characters that we love, that were created, the Stone Colds, the Rocks, the Outsiders, the DX, all that stuff that we love came from the Attitude Era, which was put to where it was by the Monday Night War. Mm-hmm. And what did they do during the Monday Night War? Called each other out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It made for good programming. It made for good TV. You were invested in what you were watching, whether you were looking at the WWE side
that
or
ECW
the WCW side.
Revolution.
ECW One Night Stand?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And not even before that, when they're trying to advertise Barely Legal, you had JR calling ECW out.
Yeah, like, yo, they did that, bro.
Yeah.
And they did it, and nobody hated wrestling during that time when that happened. Nobody was like, oh my God, I can't believe Jim Ross talked about ECW. I can't believe Eric Bischoff said what was going to happen on Raw. Like, you know what I'm saying? They used to mention that competition all the time. Exactly. That's what made it. That's what fun. The problem is that people are fucking sensitive. Because if I call you out, if I call your show out, first of all, you're getting free advertisement.
Exactly.
That's number one. So why are you mad? You're getting free advertisement. If I mention your show on mine or our show, you're getting free advertisement. Right, exactly. You're welcome. Number one. Because now it's like, oh, who's this El Dorado that they're talking about? Who's this COH that they're talking about? You know what I'm saying? Who is that? What is that? So now, even if you're only a fan of me, but you want exposition from the storyline perspective, you might go look at them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, why are you upset? Secondly, I'm not talking about your product being trash.
Yeah.
We're specifically talking about, especially like in the show, like when we got characters.
And big shout out to Ryan, because I gave him that idea. Hey, I want you to mention this is literally word for word. I want you to mention these shows, but I don't want you to disrespect them in a way. I just want you to call them out and make it what it is.
You gonna keep interrupting me to put yourself over?
There you go.
Fucking guy.
But big shout out to Ryan, because he worded perfectly the way I thought I want. He said, we're not like those regular guys there at COH and El Dorado. We take things to the extreme. And
it's
I'm
just
like,
enough sauce to not be offensive, but to let you know that we're talking shit.
And also to let you know that, hey, we're going to be the best show out there, and we're going to prove it. And that's it.
And that's where I feel like we're at. I feel like we've got a lot of work to do as far as, growth and development. However, I feel like we started off in a much better position than maybe some of our competition.
Oh, yeah.
But again, like I say, like we talk a lot of shit, but, shout out to everybody who does it, because it does, CAW definitely takes a lot of work, a lot of time, investment, energy.
And also shout out to the people who, like, recognize us.
Yeah.
And see what we're really about.
Facts.
And give us the respect and, comments, and I stay humble about it.
There's a lot of people that could take some of the things that we say.
Because they know the
like,
mentality.
Fuck XVPW. Yeah. But they're like, nah, like, see the product for what it is, regardless of the fact that we might be talking shit. And then again, like, look at some of the guys who've come over as a result of us talking shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, look at, shout out Mike, Mikey McKendro, the natural born bad dude. I mean, sometimes I laugh when you cut promos, but whatever. Not because you're funny, but like, M Accuracy is here now. You know, we got LaDon. We got some cool dudes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
LaDon never been in CAW before. Mike McKendro never been in CAW.
Really?
Yeah. No. Mikey Truth, no. Steven is the only one. Mikey Truth and Accuracy.
Yo, let me tell you something. Mikey Truth makes me want to punch a baby in the face. Like, I'm 50-50 on how I feel about Mikey Truth, just because it's like, yo, I listened to his promo on Money Shot, and I was like, yo, this is so fucking annoying. And then I thought to myself, I'm being mind fucked because I'm supposed to think this is annoying. So now I'm like, this is actually not bad. You know what I mean?
I think what really eye-opened, like, what really caught my eye of, like, fuck everybody else now is there's one time I remember, so they were advertising this big event. It's like it's like the CAW's WrestleMania, but it's a lot of collaboration of all the shows, and they're gonna come together and put on a huge production called CAW All Stars.
I heard about CAW All Stars.
So I remember it was season 1 of XVPW, and towards the end of Blowout. You know, and next thing you know, what really caught my eye is everybody's talking about XVPW. Everybody. They got me in this group. I'm just there lurking. They don't know me yet. So I'm just lurking, and they're advertising CAW All Stars. So next thing you know, I'm waiting for that one DM or person say, "Hey, we want you in CAW All Stars." And I'm just like, okay. So they would say, "Oh, we're the best. Like, oh, blah blah blah. We have all the shows here," and everybody's talking about XVPW, but we didn't get that invite.
Right? Because they.
So in a way, I'm like, one, they're scared, or two, like, oh, I don't see the big deal.
Yeah, you gonna see.
Right. So that's what
you gonna see.
That's exactly what you just said is what. Oh, they're gonna see what's up now.
You gonna see.
You know?
Listen, I don't know what Facebook group it is. I don't remember what the name of the Facebook group is. Maybe you do. It was one of the groups where they would do like top 20 heels in CAW.
Yeah.
Like for the month or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I was really pissed. Like I would watch some of these lists, and I would think to myself, because they would go through. Shout out to the moderators of the group, because I'm sure it takes a lot of work. Let me just say that. But they would go through like each character, like the episode of whatever their call was, and like what their character did. And I would read some of the stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Okay, that's cool. Okay, that's cool. And then I would be sitting there like, Biggs is a way better heel than half the people on this list. And not even just because it's me.
Wait till you see season 3. You're going to see how big of a heel he's going to be.
Like, what? Like, I'm like, yo, some of the stuff that the movement has done, some of the stuff that even, like, Rocky's done or Leroy and Z, I'm like, yo, nah.
And we did that in, like, 5 episodes.
Like, man, listen.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this shit that Biggs did, bro.
It's like...
Follow the movement. Let me just say that. Follow the movement, man. You follow that storyline, it's like, yo, damn, dog, this dude... This dude, he on some other shit. But, you know, whatever, man.
It is what it is. And there are times where I feel like, all right, I'm just going to do me. And there are times where I just let it happen. We don't even name drop names till really a fancy episode comes along, you know? Or if it's like a funny segment. But now I'm just like, all right. That's how I feel like throughout when I see growth in us. And I'm like, you know, we don't have to. Maybe we do. But when people start recognizing, like real recognize is real.
Right.
You know? And they're going to know what's up. And that's how I felt when season 2 happened. Like, they're going to know what's up. Because now, like a good example, how you been doing this for 10 plus years and you only have 300 subscribers when we've been doing it for 2 years and we got 430 something subscribers?
Well, I can answer that question, Maximilian.
Because we're the shit.
I mean, there's that, but there's also the fact that, like... I'll be sitting there telling people to subscribe whether or not they're going to watch this. I don't give a fuck. I was full transparency. I'll be like, yo, listen, I'll call people. For those of you who don't know, I'm a part of a fraternity, Psi Sigma Phi. Shout out to my brothers. I hit my brothers up all the time, be like, yo, listen, I don't care if y'all watch these videos or not. Some of y'all are wrestling fans, some of y'all are not. And I get that, like, the core audience generally are like wrestling fans primarily, at least. So I'm just like, yo, I understand that y'all might not even watch wrestling. I just need you to click this link and click the subscribe button. You ain't even gotta click the bell. If you want to click the bell, you can click the bell. I just need these subscribers. I need you to get up there. But I will say that some of my brothers do watch the show. Like some of the ones that are invested in wrestling, and some of my brothers who aren't necessarily, but appreciate the comedy and the production.
Oh, yeah.
They watch the show, and it always makes me feel good to hear one of my brothers refer to something in the show. You know what I mean? Like when my brothers call me Biggs, or like they'll say like, yo, follow the movement or something like that. Like, it's a good feeling. Or when I hear my brothers will say, or anybody for that matter will say, yo, I watched the show, like, yo, like, that was, yo, y'all a hilarious show. That Everest commercial was fucking genius. Or like something like that. Like, I sent that out in text messages, and the responses that I got for sending out that video, like my bro, who shout out to Quan, he goes, I sent them the link for the Everest commercial, which was fully Max's idea. Let me just say that. Like, I'm not gonna take any credit for that, because that was, I did it. Like, yeah, I did it. Like, but Max was the one who's like, yo, we're gonna do this Everest commercial, gonna be great. Cool. I sent the link to my brother, and he texted back and was like, nigga, how the fuck? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, I get those type of things. It's such a good, it's a mix, because like Max has this vision for like XVPW, where he wants to take it, where he wants to go, and like I'm really good at like storytelling and like bringing art to life in that aspect. So like the combination, it makes for a very good, like, you know what I mean, a very good situation. Yeah. It's rather easy to work with.
Yeah. So like, when you have that vision and you see it and you see that person in that vision, like that's the chemistry that I love.
Well, you got all the vision, because I don't got none of it, and I mean that in a literal sense.
So with that being said,
champion.
For those who, now, this is where I'm gonna let it out now. Like, for those who come at us, like you're coming at us and say, "Yo, XVPW is whack." Blah, blah, blah.
Fuck all of y'all.
Holy crap.
But we take the constructive criticism.
We take the constructive criticism, but when you come at us and be like, XVP is not original, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so a good example. One guy came up to us on our Facebook, and that's the worst way.
That was the worst thing to do.
That was the worst thing to do. You know, you could have done that in a private group.
I'm not going to apologize for the toxicity that I exuded in that message.
Yo,
I'm not going.
This guy, I think it was like Extreme Wrestling Entertainment or something.
It was like Extreme Pro Wrestling or some shit like that.
I don't know.
It was close to XVPW, but without the something was.
So this guy's trying to say that we're basically a carbon copy of them, you know, and me. Before I say whatever I have to say or comment whatever I have to comment, just to respond to this guy's thing, I did my research. You know, I looked at his channel. There's only one thing he did, and that was similar to XVPW, and that's getting real pro wrestlers to be in his show or to shout out his show. That was about it.
That's original.
You know?
I'm going to let you get all your thoughts out, and then I'm going to
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. That's probably where he got us, is, okay. But for me, and guys and for people who know me, I was watching the other shows, and I'm like, they don't have real wrestlers shouting down their shows. So I'm going to go out of my way and say, hey, we're going to do this and whatnot. But I don't do it as a thing to get my show over. I do it as a treat for people who's watching our show to say, oh, crap, they got Ricochet to shout them out? That's dope. Continue with the fucking show. Now, my man tried to get wrestlers to do real promos to make him feel like that's part of his thing. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But outside of that, show his ass.
Listen, wait, I'm gonna let you done. Let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
Let me tell you something about this corn-fed ass motherfucker, dog. This man comes on freaking Facebook and starts talking all type of crazy. Now, granted, right?
Okay, he didn't talk shit. My man made a video.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm getting at, dog. Don't interrupt me, dog. I'm telling it. The man came and he made this video. First of all, like, I feel like, what was he wearing? He was wearing like a DX jersey and like some type of headband or something.
I think he wore the DX headband.
Like, Jesus Christ.
With
like,
a tap-out shirt?
First of all, my man looked like he was like 50 years old in his grandma's basement. First of all. I don't know how old the dude was. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I can appreciate good shit talk just like everybody else, right? And I'm not sensitive to shit talk. I'll talk shit with you and we can have a good time doing it. However, what you're not about to do is sit here and disrespect our product, especially considering that your shit looks like fucking like 10-year-olds drew it. Like, he's like, and then your selling point is we got Rob Van Dam. Bruh, he don't know you. You know what I'm saying? How you got Rob Van Dam on your show? Your character's wrestling Rob Van Dam? Like, bro, Rob Van Dam ain't got nothing to do with XP. He don't even know what that is. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, we got The Rock. That's not a selling point for me, bro. Because you don't have The Rock. You pick The Rock. You know what I'm saying? All that says to me is you're not CAW. You're CSN. Create some wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the Rock. You didn't create them. You're not responsible for anything they did. Anyway, this dude comes and he's talking all this garbage. You copied off of us and you took us as inspiration. Bro, I ain't never seen your show. Max ain't never seen your show, and we would have never seen it if you ain't come on here talking all this crazy nonsense. The 30 seconds of Max's life that he wasted researching your program, he'll never get back. Anyway, you made the worst decision of your life coming in XVPW comments talking crazy. And yes, I'm talking to you. You'll probably never hear this. I think this guy deleted the comment. I don't know if he deleted his Facebook. He got flamed so bad. Shout out to me. Shout out to Tony, the Wolf King. Shout out to LaDon. This man did listen.
When I say that I never knew that XVPW had a fan base,
we
learned that we had a really decent fan base.
That's when it came out.
Because my roster, even like 99% of my roster, didn't even get him.
It was only us. It was only me. Realistically, like it was only me and Tony from like the actual roster.
Yeah.
LaDon. I don't know if LaDon was
no, he wasn't.
Yet.
He wasn't signed yet.
So like it was really just me and Tony from the roster. But a lot of the other people in the comments were like just fans. Like, yo, sign me up just so I can
beat his ass.
I was like, what? That's crazy. Like, but that just goes to show that when you put the effort into your product. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get those fans. And it hasn't been that long. And we look at the numbers, like 200 subscribers, 300 subscribers. It's not a lot of people. But when you think about it, for a product that is really targeted towards a specific demographic, to have an outburst of that many supporters, that many subscribers, in like what we really consider like a short period of time in the grand scheme of things,
like
it's a very good thing. Like,
I wish I can pop out content every fucking day or every other day or once a week and whatnot, but
we ain't got time for that.
For something like this, like, you know, I'm impressed that we did that in a certain amount of time. You know, like season 1 was done within like a couple of months. Season 2, to get to where it was like a 2-year fucking process.
Bro, I still had eyeballs when we started filming season 2. I still had vision, okay? And when we started filming season 2.
Like, I don't want to say knock on wood, but it's kind of like to have our venue the way it was, and for what happened, like, wow, I'm so surprised.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, but you know what? It's the small stuff.
Yeah.
It's the small stuff. Like, you're where. You know what I mean? Because like when you look at a car show, right? You figure like, okay, to anybody who's not a wrestling fan, it's a bunch of people, like a bunch of grown ass men dressing up, and a bunch of people, grown ass men playing a video game. That's what it is to anybody who's not a part of the culture. And you got to be realistic about that. If you're marketing your product to a demographic that's not just wrestling fans, you have to understand that. You know what I mean? That's how you're going to be perceived, and people are going to look at your product that way. So like you have to find ways to make it enjoyable for people who are not a part of that community.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where I think we excel. Like we excel, or we're in a good place as far as doing things like adding like little details, like
exactly.
Like Save Best School for the Blind. It's like your show's where in a blind, like you know what I mean, in a blind what, like you talk shit about blind kid, what, like you say crazy racial, what, like, and we don't do it so much for shock value.
No, we don't.
You know what I mean? Because I don't necessarily need the shock value. Because if I'm being, not modest,
anybody else can be in an arena. Like, anybody else can be in a Barclays. Anybody else can be. And that's when, like I said, when I did season 2, I wanted to do my fucking research of like, you guys just press the share button and that's it. For us, we think of stories 7 months of taping, or for a whole entire season.
It's a lot, man.
And there's a lot. Writing, season, like think of the writing, character development, progression, booking, to get to that end goal. I'm still writing season 3, and I gotta make sure that I'm still comfortable with it, and everybody's comfortable with it.
I will say this though, there's some good shit coming up in season 3.
Oh, hell
Max
yeah.
were on the phone earlier today for this podcast, and we were talking about some ideas, just bouncing some stuff back and forth.
Yeah.
And
I think by the end of season 3, you're gonna be like the best heel in CAW history.
Oh, yo, there's no way, dude. Like, let me tell you something. If after season 3, if
Biggs does not make it to at least
Biggs
top
don't
10.
make that list, if Biggs don't make top 10, y'all motherfuckers racist. It's because I'm black. I'm telling y'all right now, bro. I'm telling y'all
saying
right
real
now.
recognizes real. I'm gonna make that video viral.
Yo, I'm dead, yo. Listen, if Biggs is not in the top 10 heels in CAW after season 3 of XVPW, bruh. you're all racist. And I will do another podcast, and I will go down a list of everybody who made the list and tell you why they're racist. And don't not put me on the list just so I make the video. Just saying. It's not my goal to shoot for top 10 heels and CAW. I'm realistically, all jokes aside, just doing something
fun,
that I low-key love to do. Like, it's fun. Like, you know what I mean?
To the point where I don't even think of it as, like, as much as people want to say, as much as I say CAW, I just say CAW because this is technically the community that I'm in. But outside of that, I think XVPW is more than that.
It's the CAW is the foundation.
The CAW is the
But,
foundation, but outside of that, it's really, I don't feel myself that I'm in CAW. I literally are in these CAW groups just to advertise my show and to find people who enjoy it and love it. Outside of that, I don't work twice as hard as I did back then. I feel like
you work harder now than you used to.
Oh yeah,
on XVPW.
Yeah. Because I do it for the fact that I don't want to be just a CAW show. I want to be legitimately a fact of this is a really good fucking wrestling show.
I think so. Like, to when you can get people that don't watch wrestling to be invested, because realistically though, like, some of our videos are kind of long.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and that's okay because there's a lot of storyline that goes into it, so it takes time to
like
tell a story.
There's no way I can make like I used to 1 hour show and whatnot, but the 2 hour show is basically that's a pay-per-view.
The pay-per-view, yeah, you got.
But I do my best. I do my best to make it pleasing to the eye. You know,
it has to be.
Yeah, it has
because you have to catch casuals, man.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I'll tell you. You can take this. You can take this as a nod to your, your work. I showed a couple of people my match from Money Shot. Mm-hmm. I specifically wanted them, and shout out to David Adams for such a wonderful intro. He's the freaking man.
I feel like that's what what legitimizes ourselves as a legit show.
He's the man for that. Yeah. Like your announcing is top notch, sir, and I appreciate you. So I showed a couple of my friends the whole trailer and everything. You know, the video they did with the separate trailer, the segment, right?
Yeah.
So I showed them the whole thing, and we had sat there and legit watched the entire video.
Oh.
And they were invested in the match.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it was just like, okay, yeah, you're going to watch the show because I'm on it and you're my friend or you're my brother or whoever. So you're going to watch my segment because, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm funny. So you'll watch it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the fact that people are actually entertained by the storyline is what makes me happy. Like, I had a brother, shout out to John Velez, he's the freaking man. He's in California. I talk to him all the time. He's one of the guys who keeps me motivated to keep, doing everything that I'm involved in, including XVPW. He loves the show.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to him about it, and I was saying, yeah, man, like, we got some cool stuff coming up in season 3. I'm like, do you want spoilers? And he was like, nah. I want to watch it when it comes out. Word. I don't want any spoilers. And I'm like, thank you. Like, like, that's
the
cool.
little things.
That's cool. Like, that's cool. You don't want spoilers. I can tell you what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. He's like, nah, I want to see it.
Especially stuff that we talked about this morning.
Yeah, the stuff that bro, let me just say this. I want to put out the disclaimer, I am not a racist, regardless of the things that Biggs may say or may do on camera. Uh-huh. I myself, that part of is not a reflection of who I am as a person. So I'll talk my shit, don't get me wrong. Yeah. However, I'm I'm not as heel as the ease in which I play one would suggest that I am.
All right. So to close this out, I want to ask you.
What's up?
Top 3 things that you want to see, like, I guess, I don't want to say goals or whatever, but where do you, like, things that you want to see in XVPW? Like
in the show or like XVPW as a brand?
In general, I guess the brand.
As a brand?
Yeah, because shows whatever, but brand.
XVPW as a brand.
Like, where do you want to see it like 3 years from now, or where do you want it to be? I want to give it like a time limit, but where do you want to see it go?
I would like to see XVPW transcend the CAW community first and foremost.
Yeah. Like,
I'm not saying like network type of support or anything like that, but just for XVPW to not be classified solely by like CAW, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're CAW, like we do CAW,
yeah, we do
right?
CAW.
But I don't want it to be like, oh, this is a call show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or this is just a call show and be defined by that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would like to transcend that and have people who are casuals watching XVPW, not for like the wrestling stuff, but just because the storyline is great. Because the matches are important. But let's be honest, we're playing a video game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So when you're watching a wrestling show, like say you're watching Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-view, whatever the case is, you're invested in the matches to some degree, even though you know it's choreographed. You're invested because you understand, if you do, hopefully, the amount of athleticism that goes into it.
Yeah.
So even if you don't respect the fact that it's choreographed fighting, you can respect the fact that there's nothing fake about John Morrison doing a starship paint off a springboard.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing fake about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you can appreciate that. As far as watching a call, it's so much more important to build your characters, to build your story, because you're not impressing anybody with your ability to press L2 at the right time to counter them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, the average viewer is not appreciative of something like
Yeah.
that. You know? So you have to sell it in a place where the average person can appreciate. And I feel like that definitely comes through in your storyline, and it comes through in the building of your characters. And if you're good enough at building storyline and characters, you can, you know, transcend the confines of a specific community.
Yeah.
Like, perfect example, and I'll be brief. So, like, the Smash Brothers community, right? Mm-hmm. So they did, like, years ago when True Life was a thing on MTV, they did, like, True Life, I'm a Professional Gamer.
Yeah.
So there was a segment of the episode that was specifically dedicated to Smash Brothers players who get, you know, sponsored and whatnot. And for me, at that moment, like, me being a part of the Smash Brothers community, that kind of, for me, said that Smash Brothers kind of transcended just that small Smash community, because now you got people on MTV, and even if they're not invested in Smash Brothers like the same way, it's like you see it someplace other than like my game shop, or you know what I mean, or a tournament that I go to because I'm a part of the culture. Mm-hmm. Like you're seeing this on MTV now. So whether or not people know all the ins and outs, like how we did, they're still aware of it. Mm-hmm. And invested in the idea of it. You know what I mean? So that's definitely where I want to see XVPW at some point, is as an idea and not so much defined by, you know, what it is. Yeah. That's one thing. Merchandise.
Oh.
I definitely have a couple ideas for shirts. I have a couple plugs too. We gotta talk about that. But as far as like printing and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely love if some of our characters had shirts. Because granted, like we're not in a position to monetize our YouTube videos for obvious reasons at the moment. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that would be a really cool, like,
that's cool.
You know what I mean? That would be a really cool way to generate some type of, you know, monetary value to put back into the show, obviously, but also at the same time, just for the sake of support. You know what I mean? Because how cool would it be realistically to like log into Facebook and see somebody wearing like a 4-eye shirt?
That's cool. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or somebody in a wrestling group wearing like a big shirt, or like a Rocky Patel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we joked around about merch in the first season.
Yeah.
But like to actually have like some type of merch, I think would actually be kind of cool for some point in the future. So I guess that's 2. I would like to see for XVPW, I want like a Monday Night War invasion type situation. Yeah. I would love to partner like real, like, and that to be honest, like that's one of the reasons that like we kind of do like the call outs and whatnot, shout outs and whatnot, because I would love that. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, I don't know if other companies or
with that shit, right?
Or with it, or maybe it's been done before, but I know that if we did it, we'll do it right.
Right. Listen.
You know?
Let me just say this, right? Shout out to NEW for I caught that podcast. And I really liked some of the things that you guys were talking about. The idea that a lot of the stuff that we've done, and you specifically have done, are influencing people in positive ways, because we get a lot of heat for shit,
and I love it.
Don't get me wrong.
I love it.
I love the heat. Yeah. I love the salty fucking internet, freaking Call of Duty fucking room crybabies online. I love it. You know what I mean? I freaking use the salt from your tears to season my chicken. But like,
oh, you should use that as a line.
I'm definitely going to.
That's dope.
But like, I really do appreciate the fact that like everything that we do, because this is what, honestly, like, I don't know if you ever experienced this as a content creator. I'm sure you do, but like I experience this participating, so I imagine you do as well. But like sometimes when you put so much work into it and you're like, yo, who's actually watching what I do, or who's actually appreciating what I do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because your average friends who aren't a part of the culture are just like, oh, you're spending hours doing some shit for YouTube, or like you're acting, you're doing some funny shit, like, you know what I mean? They're not looking at it from a perspective of passion, like, yo, I really want to get this product out, like, this is my baby, this is my content. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, for example, like when I write music, people are like, oh, that's a cool song, like, you know what I mean? But for me as an artist, it's just like, yo, this is my baby, this is my passion, like, you know what I'm saying? So I put more heart into it as far as like when I actually do. And granted, I should write a whole lot more than what I do, but that's another story. But like when you create something, it's your baby, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you're protective over it, but at the same time, because you're so passionate about it, that like you just want to see it grow, and you want to see it, you know, be the best that it could be. And to know that you're doing your thing and that people are recognizing that you're doing your thing, it makes you kind of feel like all the hard work and the stress over the situation isn't for nothing.
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
You know, and that's a really good feel. Most so like I say all that to say, in the way of like a partnership, maybe not so much a partnership altogether, but just, you know, some type of dealings with, like, you know, another Fed would definitely be great, because I know, like, you know, granted, I'm not as deep into the community as you are, but I poke my head. I keep, you know, I pay attention, keep my head around. So I do know that it's the CAW community, as far as like, you know, Feds are very like, this is my show. We're over here. I'm at the top.
Very territorial.
Over here. It's a very territorial type of deal, and there's not a lot of like, or at least like you'll get CAW guys that go from one Fed to another that are a part of multiple Feds. That's one thing. But like as far as like having like it be a thing, where it's like, say this Fed and that Fed are like, say XVPW and NEW, for example, that like we're making appearances on each other's shows, and it's a real Monday Night War situation, and it looks like we really hate each other, and we can throw a massive heat on, like, you know, podcasts and Facebook posts, but the reality is we're all in on it together. I think that's so great, because it's you get more characters to work with, you got more personalities, you got more minds and more hands. You know what I mean? So it's like, from a creative perspective, that can be a little bit like, sometimes. But like when you're all on the same page about what you want to do and innovating and being creative, you know, I think that you're putting yourself in a position to thrive. Yeah. You know, and I think that, and then I think what's
gonna fail, and that is like the egos.
Yeah,
it's most
you
definitely
gotta get your ego out the fucking window. Yeah, because look, we're all nerds to somebody else.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Whether or not, this is real shit. Whether or not XVPW's better than COH or Eldorado's better than somebody else, whether that be the case or not, you know what I mean? There's no room for egos. Yeah. In a community in which the general status quo is all looking at us like the same fucking person.
Like I admit XVPW probably has the biggest ego in this CAW community. But that's the kayfabe. But that's the kayfabe. That's the kayfabe.
It's kayfabe. It's a kayfabe. So it's different. We don't have as far as
the kayfabe is we are the best. But what wrestling company isn't when they say that, you know? Like fucking AEW, because everyone wants to change the fucking universe. WWE is now and forever, whatever, you know?
You have to market yourself as the best.
That's the kayfabe XVW is we have the egos. But outside of that, we're humble as it is, and we hope to see everybody prosper and do well.
I want to see these guys. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I want to see people do good, man. Like, because what type of asshole are you to wish ill on somebody else's product that they're working as hard as you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing the same thing. That's like how I never understood how gamers hate on each other. Yeah, it's like, my nigga, we're all nerds to everybody who's not a gamer. It's all fucking egos. It's bullshit.
Oh, my ranking system.
That's bullshit.
I'm the top.
I'm competitive. I'm competitive. So I'm gonna tell you ass. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. But like, I'm not saying like you're an ass. You're like, as a person, like your mom sucks. And like, or like your dad is absentee father. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not throwing no real heat at you. We talking about the game. Like, if you got the sticks in your hand, bro, you ask because I'm the best. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's a part of the competitive spirit. That doesn't mean that as a person, I don't like you. Or if you be like, yo, I need some help learning how to do XYZ. Can you teach me this combo? Can you teach me XYZ? I'm not gonna not show you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you come to me and say, hey, bro, can you teach me how to play Falco, Smash Bros. Sure, I got you. I'll show you some stuff. It's not a problem. But when we're playing,
I'm going to beat your ass.
I'm going to fuck you up. And I'm going to tell you ass. And I'm going to go for some crazy shit that I got no business doing. And I'm going to kill myself twice trying to do it. And I'm going to laugh at you when I hit it. You know what I'm saying?
And at the end of the day, we're just going to eat and drink something.
And we're going to eat, drink, chill, and that's it. Like, it's cool. Exactly, but it's cool. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you got to get the egos out there. There's no room for egos in a community where we're already starting off in a spot where, like, we're not commonplace. Like, CAW is not something that's a commonplace thing in society.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Many content creators will say the same thing with us. Will say, I didn't even know this was a thing. I thought I was a genius when I came up with this.
Yeah.
And then realized that there's a whole community for it. So that clearly goes to show that, like, CAW is not a big enough thing for people who engage in it to be throwing legit heat at each other.
Yeah.
You know, we don't actually hate anybody.
No,
we don't actually dislike anybody. Like,
funny
you know
story,
I mean?
when M Accuracy finally saw us and all that stuff, he was like, "Wow, I totally didn't expect all of this." I'm like, "Yeah, man, we cool as fuck."
He came out too.
And everybody said, and you know, everybody told, "Hey, so are you guys like mad at us?" And we just say that just so we get ourselves out there.
It's like, nah, like it's a part of like.
But see, that's the funny chemistry about that. Everybody knows, and my mastermind, my fucking, I created a fucking monster.
Over again.
Yeah, like that's how I am. Like, it works in the community. Having M Accuracy and XVPW helps helps the other shows know what's up and be like, damn, XVPW, like, it works in that weird, funny way of like, I'm gonna mention you guys' names, but now you have somebody from your Fed that we mentioned their names, and now he's in our show, and next thing you know that the kayfabe of us is we talk shit. So now he is your Lord and Savior of, you better do fucking well in America.
Right, we just put your guy over.
Exactly.
Like, shut the fuck up, dog. Like, y'all, who argues with free promotion? Who argues with free advertisement? Like, people don't understand.
You hear what Ryan said? Like, everybody, like.
Everybody's trying to get over on our shit because they can't get over on theirs. I mean,
that shit was so funny.
And I know a couple of you furries out there were upset about that statement.
Yeah.
I know some of y'all was upset. It's like, yo, dog, like, why y'all mad for it, bro? Like, you mad or not? Like, it's not that deep.
And this is me gonna talk shit now. Watch M Accuracy be hella over in our show and not in your show. And I was like, yo, it's gonna be amazing.
Because all y'all about to come, whether y'all like it or not, all y'all M Accuracy fans is about to come right over to XVPW to see what type of funarchy this guy brings to our show. And you know it.
We're gonna show you what true funarchy is. Oh, see, that's us like, we're gonna show you what true funarchy is.
You know it, and this is the thing, you know it. You know what I'm saying? And your psyche,
and you can't hate us, and you can't hate about it. You can't.
Your psyche's gonna tell you that you're not gonna watch it just because I said you're gonna watch it, but realistically, you're gonna be curious as to what he does, what Mikey McKendra does, Chris Zero, Mikey Truth, like all these guys who are coming over that are participating in XVPW now, like people who have been following their characters for years. You're gonna know because
nobody want to see the same shit. Nobody want to see selfie portrait mode, coding a promo, then match on 2K. That's it. How many times have you seen that? How many years?
I don't understand why people aren't excited to see their people interact with new people. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo.
And I can admit that our 99% of our roster never done CAW.
None of us ever. I didn't do that.
So we are all new.
We're all new with the shit, bro.
We only signed M Accuracy because he's actually a guy who's been doing it for something plus years. And now to put him
that ain't the only reason. He works, but
yeah, he works.
It's definitely a selling point.
The idea of we finally signed somebody that's not in our circle, that's doing this for 10 plus years, and now, hey, fuck it.
That was tough to do a little bit because it's like you ask yourself, like, how is this gonna affect the dynamic of the group? Mm-hmm. Because like for us, it's like we're all friends already, even though we want to rip each other's heads off half the time. Yeah. Like we're all still friends. So there's a certain foundation of dynamic between us, and when you invite somebody new, especially somebody who's experienced, not to say that we're afraid to learn because we're definitely not, but at the same time it's like we don't know how this person's gonna fit into the dynamic of the creative process, filming, because we're all used to each other. You know what I mean? So we know how we all work, and so we can kind of cater to one another for smoother sessions and whatnot. So when you're introducing somebody new, there's always that you're concerned about. But I will say M Accuracy fit in rather well. Like, you know what I mean? It was almost like
seeing him work with Ryan and Osama in that promo.
It looked like he was always here.
Yeah.
Like, you fit.
Exactly.
And it's cool. And it's because in the situation, there was no ego from either side.
No.
Because it would have been real easy for him to look at us like, oh, these are some starter babies. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And, you know, I'm just going to come in here and be like, oh, well, we should do this and we should do this and do that. And what I say is probably a better idea because I've been doing this. You know, that would have been real easy for him to come in.
I remember filming his promo and whatnot, and he came up to me and said, "Wow, I never had a person tell me to do it like 20 times." He's like, "That's how I work," and he was totally cool with that. You know,
appreciate that professionalism.
Exactly, no egos.
You can't have egos, dog. Like, because here's the thing, right? And it's like I was starting to say before, we're all in the same pool.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So realistically, if one of us succeeds, we all succeed.
Yep.
You know, because people from the outside, the casuals that we're doing our best to appeal to, I don't know if anybody else is, I can't say, but if you're really trying to appeal to casuals, then understand that whether or not you have anything to do with your competition or not, your competition is affecting you.
Mm-hmm.
So if casuals are seeing somebody else's show and their show is trash, and that tends to be no. If not, I'm not speaking about anybody specific. I'm just saying in a general sense.
Definitely, yeah.
If you know what I'm saying? Like if you if a casual say was to watch XVPW, I'll use us so none of you crybabies get upset. So if XVPW was the first show that a casual was to watch and it was ass, that is effectively that person's idea of CAW as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So even if COH is great, even if Eldorado's great, it doesn't matter because that person's first experience to CAW is XVPW, and now I don't like CAW because I associate CAW with XVPW and XVPW was bad. You know what I'm saying? So, like, y'all got to understand that. So, if you're going to be territorial, then your product has to be fire.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. Some of y'all programs ain't looking too hot. It's been cold in January. You know what I'm saying? It's been cold in January, and I feel like it's because XVPW's been on a break.
Yeah.
But as soon as XVPW gets back, you're going to see the weather start changing. You're going to see the temperature in the 60s, 70s, 80s.
It's going to be hot 97.
It's going to be hot. It's going to be blazing hip-hop and R&B out this bitch. Because the rest of y'all, and not everybody, because there's some great calls out there. However, some of y'all don't spend 8 minutes doing a fucking promo on a fucking selfie face and fucking cell phone. Like, don't do that. God. Don't do that. Like, because I don't care what the fuck you're talking about now. You know what I'm saying? You got to catch somebody, and this is just from like, and I know this from just performing as a whole. You got to catch somebody within like the first 30 seconds.
Yep.
If you don't, you know what I'm saying? And that's real shit. If you're not catching somebody's attention in the first 30 seconds of what's going on, you've lost them for the rest of your program.
Yeah.
You've lost them.
I bet you if you watch our show, you're going to be hooked. Like, the first minute. I make sure the first minute counts.
It has to.
And after that, booyah, like, you're hooked. You know?
You know what else I want to say?
Give it a try. Just watch Money Shot. Just watch the first 5 minst of Money Shot.
Money Shot was great. I've watched Money Shot. Listen, no cap. I've watched Money Shot maybe like 10 times.
Yeah. Watch the first 5 minutes of Money Shot, and I guarantee you that you can't get your eyes off it. Because seeing the shit that I did and, like, produced and, like, whatever, and how it came about, like, the journey from episode 1 to the end was an amazing fucking journey. And to see the progression of that, I still can get over it.
We did very good for ourselves.
Yeah.
I think we all definitely like
nothing's more appreciated than filming the last episode and having it published and see all the hard work you've done leading to that journey and see it and, like, yeah. Because anybody can make a show. Just press the fucking share button and do commentary of it.
Yeah, anybody could do that.
With a freaking raspy mic. And, like, yeah, this is the best show ever. Look at the pyro.
Fuck pyro, dog. XVPW ain't got no fucking money.
We don't got money.
D. Ryan Z definitely fucking used up the one shot of pyro that we had for 3 seasons. We got nothing.
Hey guys, it's CAW Braxton and you're watching Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
Extreme.